This spreadsheet is set up to help individuals learn how they can solve for either the payment, the loan amount, the interest rate, or the term of a loan, given three of the other four factors. So, for example, in this one right here, let's assume that we're paying on a monthly basis. So you're going to put in there 12 payments per year and a loan amount of $15,000. If your interest rate is 7.5% and the loan is due in 3 years, then you're going to have to make this payment here, and you're going to pay that much interest over the life of the loan over 3 years. How about if you change that from 3 years to 10 years? You'll notice that when you do so, the payment drops down dramatically, but also the total interest you pay over the life of the loan jumps up dramatically. Now, what's cool about spreadsheets is you can do what-if type situations. What if the interest rate were to change from 7.5 to, let's say, 6.2, okay? We put that in, and all of the calculations and so forth are done for us. So in this case here, we'd like you to put in some values. For example, let's say you want to know how much you can afford. So you're going to say, okay, let's try to do some kind of realistic thing. Let's say I can afford a payment on a new car of, let's say, $300 a month. If I can afford $300 a month and the annual interest rate is 5%, then if the term of the loan that the auto dealership is doing is 5 years, then I can actually afford $15,897 car. All right, so that allows me to figure out what kind of a loan I can qualify for if I can make these payments. In other words, I could have an auto loan of this amount and pay this much, $300 every 12 months at 5% interest rate for 5 years. The problem is over those 5 years, you're going to pay this much interest. Now, again, let's say that the auto manufacturer says we have an APR 1%, an introductory rate of 1%. You can see at 1%, then our interest drops down to negligible value by comparison. We can qualify for a larger loan. So, however, if the interest rates go up, let's say that as they did in the 80s and so forth, let's say we're dealing with like 15% interest. Notice when I hit enter here, rather than a $17,000 loan, I can only qualify for a $12,600 loan. And so, again, this allows me to solve for the loan amount that I could qualify if I know what kind of a payment I can afford over a period of, let's say, 12 months per year. Now, I'd like you to put in some values here for solving for the interest rate, if you know the loan, the term of the loan, and the payment, or to solve for the term of the loan if you know the loan amount, the annual interest rate, and the payment. And so by going through this, you're going to kind of understand, again, the value of spreadsheets and how you can adjust them to meet your particular needs. Now, in terms of the formulas that are behind this spreadsheet, again, this is just a Google sheet similar to Excel or any other kind of spreadsheet. And if I click on the view here and I say show the formulas, you'll see that the formulas come out here. All right, here's all the formulas and so forth I heard. And they may look very difficult, but they're really not as difficult as they appear. If I click on this one, for example, this first part here says if count, C6 to C8. Well, C6 to C8 is just this range right here. It's just saying if you have any less than 3 entries, and there's count at 1, 2, 3, had 3 entries, then you're fine. If you have less than that, then you just put the dash, dash, dash. It just means, it's just a way of just entering something in the cell to indicate that no calculation's been done. Here we're solving for payment because that's what we're trying to figure out for. And if we know what the payment, that's a payment function. So it's payment. And you're looking at C7. So C7 is the annual interest rate divided by C3. And notice this $C, $3. And that's what you put the $ in those cases to indicate an absolute reference. In other words, you're always trying to refer to that cell. If you were to paste this formula into someplace else, it would still say C3, even though the other numbers would change. So the $ doesn't affect the math. It just affects what cell it's coming from. So in other words, here, it's always coming from the number of payments. So as we look through this, we can see that, okay, we can kind of understand that. Then it says, take C8. Okay, we have to find out what C8, well, that's the term of the loan right there. There's C8. So the term of the loan. And we multiply, that's what the asterisk means, times C3. Again, the number of payments or number of installments per year. And then we subtract C6. C6 just happens to be the loan amount. So when you look at this, it's important to see how other people have put formulas in. The formulas can be quite complex at times, or at least appear complex in this case. But once they're established, you can save an immense amount of time in terms of calculations. So again, in this particular one, use this to do some modeling on some hypothetical situations, and then just write a paragraph about those situations and what those situations mean.